A very good afternoon to you, and I know that we are running behind time. Just going to take off my glasses so that I can have a better eye contact with you guys. Um, so, being in the profession that I'm in, I'm sure you all are aware of the law of diminishing returns, right? I have a different law. I have a law of diminishing attention. So I feel that, when an audience is subjected to too much of gyan for a long time, their attention keeps diminishing. So I'm not going to take too much of your time, and I will not give you too much gyan. I will just share some interesting uh, anecdotes from my life experiences, and talk a little bit about the importance of having a broad perspective towards life. Now, while I was listening to all the speakers here, very accomplished people, very inspiring stories, and I was, in my head rethinking what I had to say because so many different perspectives. And then I realized, oh, I should have included this. This is what I could have talked about. And that's the beauty of this all. Because you have complete contrast of what people believe in, what people want to say, and what people identify with. I mean, on one hand, we had somebody like Sarthak who has meticulously, dissected the formula for success and excellence. And just before I came on stage, you heard Anubhav talk about achieving success in spite of not having a plan. What is right? What is wrong? Who are we to say? Whatever floats your boat, great for you, right? Okay, so that's exactly what I'm going to talk about in my speech today. As Indians, we identify with the philosophy of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam. Do you all know what that is? What is that? World is a family, right? And family members have differences. Do you have anybody here who has a family where there are no differences? No? But what is also interesting is that in every family, every member wants to dominate and says that my perspective is the right perspective. It's my way or the highway. And that is where the problem comes. Why can't we overcome the differences and bond as a family, celebrate the differences? That's what is really important. It's very surprising that, we say that we are living in a global village, right? World is shrinking. There is an advancement of transportation, technology, and telecommunication. I mean, the world has never been so well connected than before. Ironically, it has also not been so greatly divided as it is now. The divisions are no longer on the basis of race, region, religion. It could be something as trivial as Messi or Ronaldo, Man U or Chelsea, Marvel or DC. You have passions running high. Visit any of the social media platforms and you find that you post something which is different from other people's ideology. You have troll army spewing vitriol, getting really nasty because they have the security of being nameless, faceless, and they can say whatever they want to say. But what is interesting to note here is they're saying this because that's the mindset which is growing in our society. We are increasingly becoming less tolerant of a different viewpoint. You switch on the TV at 9 o'clock. You don't see debates. You see screaming matches. Nobody gets to put in their point of view if they don't agree with the anchor who is hosting the debate. So the debate, the spaces for safe debate, dissension, they're shrinking. And it is not healthy for us to be in an environment like that. It is extremely important, and I'm sure you all are aware of it. That's why the theme for this year's talk is Kaleidoscope of Perspectives. Just imagine if we lived in a world where everybody dressed the same, everybody ate the same food, everybody spoke the same language. How boring it would be. Because the world is different, that's why it is as exciting, enchanting, or enticing as a kaleidoscope. So importance of having a different perspective is not lost to anyone. But what are we doing to achieve that? So before we get into that, I'm going to share a little bit of my story with you. There is no so sad story, and there's not even, a list of accomplishments. I mean, the way they introduced me. It's just a very simple narration of my growing up years. So, and before I start that, there's something very interesting happened when I came here in the morning. I was sitting with other speakers, and Kirti's husband, Milind, he's in the audience here, right? So we were interacting, and he asked me out of the blues, are you a defense kid? Do you have a defense background? And that's something which I have heard many times before. People have asked me because they feel that I have an outgoing personality, a confident personality, cheerful, open-minded. I mean, the list is long. And I'm sure you must have also heard that people from defense background have a higher success rate. I mean, we have, the stories from Captain Dharavir here. I mean, my growing up years, I mean, this will give you an insight into how old I am. We had all the, the beauty queens from the, Miss Universes and the Miss Worlds who had defense background, be it Sushmita Sen, Aishwarya Rai, Lara Datta, Priyanka Chopra. Okay, so Priyanka Chopra is younger than me, but yeah, Sushmita and probably Aishwarya are the same age group. So, there was something about the way these children grew up that added to that personality. And you may wonder what that is. I am not from a defense background, just to clarify things, but I think I have imbibed those qualities. And the contributing reason for that is because my father has a transferable job. So all my growing up years, we moved from a place to place every 2 years. I did my schooling from different schools. Hindi medium schools, Kendriya Vidyalaya, on all army defense cantonment areas. Till class 11th, I was not able to converse in English. It's a fact. And that's when my dad got transferred to Bombay, but that's a different story. I'll come to that a little later. So I'm talking about growing up in different cities. We lived in 6 different cities, did my schooling from 6 different schools in 5 different states. In all, so far, I have lived in 11 different cities. But we have examples of most of the people being born and then dying in the same city. That narrows your worldview to quite an extent. There are stereotypes, there are beliefs that are rooted in that local community, your family, your school, your friend circle, which shape your worldview. I was fortunate that I was able to travel so much, and that helped me look at things from different perspectives. I'm going to ask you to do a very simple thing. I'm going to ask you to take out your phones. Can you please take out your phones and do a Google search for business executive? Sorry?
There's no signal, there's no Wi-Fi.
There's no signal? Okay, all right. So when you go back, you can try this. Do a search for business executive, an image search. Then do an image search for receptionist on Google. Trust me, I know it, because this is something I do in my diversity trainings as well. The images that you get for a business executive or a business head or a business leader are all white men, dominant. Then after 3 or 4 pictures, you will get one odd black man. Then maybe a woman, a white woman. When you do receptionist, I don't know how further you will have to scroll to see even a single man. This is just one very simple example to tell you how narrow our viewpoints are and how they are shaped by the narratives that are fed to us. It's a vicious circle. You have those beliefs, you showcase those beliefs in creating narratives, and those narratives further that belief. And the need of the hour is to change that narrative, to break that narrative, to disrupt that stereotype. A disruption is a word that all of you are familiar with. Everybody has to have a disruptive idea. Well, I disagree. Not everybody has to have a disruptive idea. Einstein once said that if you ever judged a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will spend its entire life thinking that it's stupid. Each of you is individually unique. If you want to be accepted as you are, you have to accept the differences around you. So I'll tell you again, going back to my upbringing. And it's not just that, I grew up in different cities. So my grandparents moved to India after partition from Pakistan. My maternal side of the family settled in Gujarat, one end of the country. My paternal side of the family settled in West Bengal. Extremely opposite, a small town in West Bengal, Purulia. And Purulia is notoriously known for an arms drop case, if you don't know, because you're too young to definitely do a Google search. So, two extreme ends. My nani, my maternal grandmother, so that she would assimilate and not stand out in that small village in Gujarat where they initially settled, it was called Ganpatpura. So, very small hamlet. She started wearing her sari Gujarati style. A Sikh woman from a remote region in Pakistan dressing up as a Gujarati, learning Gujarati. On the other hand, my dadi, my maternal grandmother, an illiterate woman from a different region in Pakistan, speaking fluent Bengali because she had to deal with the local people for running the business. That is the environment that I grew up in. Then I ended up marrying a Christian. I am a Siddharthi. So, the amalgamation, I didn't have to go looking for a cultural melting pot. We were a cultural melting pot in our family. Diverse languages, attire, food habits. May her soul rest in peace. My mom's no more, but my mom thought in Gujarati. Her Gujarati was better than her Punjabi. And I grew up doing holiday homework for my cousins, so I can read Gujarati and not so fluent in Bengali, but I understand the language. So this has shaped my personality for me to understand that, there's no one reality. There is no one right way of thinking. People often ask that, when you're able to adapt so easily, doesn't that mean that you're losing your personality? That you're losing your identity? And I asked them a very simple question. You put water in a tall glass or a square container. Its shape changes, but does it stop being water? Water is water. My adaptability, my ability to be flexible is my strength. How it helps me, and in my profession, it is very, very critical because I talk to, deal with, coach, mentor, train people from all different kinds of backgrounds, be it their abilities, be it their religious beliefs, be it the region they come from, and even age groups. I also, mentor adolescents, but I also speak to, top executives of business organizations when I do coaching sessions with them. So this varied audience that I deal with, it becomes easier for me to connect with them because I'm able to look past the differences. I know that a person who is different from me doesn't necessarily mean that I have nothing in common with them, that I can't connect with them. For them to feel connected, to create an environment of trust and respect, you need to accept that there will be differences. You need to learn to look past them. That's extremely important. People who are different are not wrong. It's just that we don't know enough about them. It's the fear of the unknown which holds us back. I'm going to ask you one question. Most of you are not from Pune, I believe. Yes. You've come from different parts of the country? Yes. Okay. So here the friends that you've made, or initially when you came here, did you first automatically gravitate towards people who were from probably the same city? Yes. Who spoke the same language? Yeah, I hear mixed response, but I hear yeses more than no. Yeah? So if you're not given a choice, then it's a different thing. But if you find somebody who is from the same city, who speaks the same language, you tend to bond better with them. And why just cool? Go on a holiday. Foreign country mein jao, wahan pe, you are roaming in Swiss Alps, and suddenly you hear somebody speaking Hindi. I'm not even talking about a regional language. You will gravitate towards that person. So the thing is that, when it comes to adding new experiences to our life, we are self-limiting. We look for comfort. ये comfortable है, ये secure है, because we're not pushing our boundaries. Okay, so any Star Trek fans here? Bas, that's it? Star Trek? Okay, I'm really old. Anyways, Star Trek का भी revival हुआ है. So with a younger crew, please do watch. But from the original series, there is an introductory monologue which says, I'm going to modify it. It talks about seeking new life forms and civilizations, and to boldly go where no one has gone before. Yeah. So that is how you broaden your perspectives. I mean, that's too ambitious. I mean, we're not going to settle on Mars also anytime soon. So, but your exploration can start here on planet Earth. Yeah. How are you going to do that? Add to your experiences, add to your adventures. Keep an open mind. Like, Kirti gave a very good example that she was close to being an entrepreneur, but her mind changed. So keep your options open. I'll share an example with you. I got into this profession by sheer accident. And I'm very grateful that that accident happened. And I'll also share something which I haven't shared on any stage before. My friends and my family know, but I'm sharing it with you because we were talking about failure. So when I did my 10th, I was really in awe with my cousins who had all taken science. They were studying engineering. And I was a decent student. So I thought, if they can do it, I can do it too. Because that was the measure of success for me. जो science पढ़ता है वो intelligent होता है, जो engineer होता है वो intelligent होता है. That's a lucrative profession. I took science. I mean, it was not difficult, but I managed to scrape through. 12th हो गया. Then I thought कि engineering, medical, too much hard work. I don't have the bent of mind. I'm not going to do this, so enroll for BSc. Interestingly, in BSc, organic chemistry was my nemesis. Okay, I did 2 years of BSc. I could not clear my first year BSc organic chemistry paper. I could not go to 3rd year. I left BSc. I completed my graduation in 5 years because I changed fields. It is okay to be, not successful at everything you attempt, but you need to know when to do damage control and course correction. That's important. Had I just stuck to that, I may have probably never even been a graduate also. But I'm standing here in front of you, talking to you. You introduced me as a motivational speaker. So if I am able to be in a position when I can motivate in spite of what happened, I don't even know how many years back, with 30 years back, I'm telling you my age now completely out in the open, do the math. So the thing is that, often we limit ourselves because of the beliefs that we've grown up with, because what has been fed to us, because what has been told to us. How do you change that? I shared a few examples with you that, push your boundaries. The one thing that I want you to do diligently is question everything. Never take anything on its face value just because it has been told to you. It is our culture. हम parents हैं, हमें पता तुम्हारे लिए क्या सही है. So जो हम बोलेंगे वो करो. Your teachers will tell you, we have more experience. We have taught so many students. We know what is best for you. Your bosses, when you start working, will tell you, तुम हमें सिखाओगे. I'm your boss. I know how it is done. I have been doing this for such a long time. But अगर सब चीज़ें वैसे ही करते रहेंगे जैसे होती आई हैं तो कुछ भी चेंज नहीं होगा. अगर गैलीलियो सोचता कि अर्थ फ्लैट है तो फ्लैट ही रहती. You need to have that innate, I'm going to borrow from Sarthak again, curiosity is not enough. Actionable curiosity. And ask questions, don't take anything for granted. Ask questions to yourself first. What do you believe in? What do you stand for? Is your way of life the correct way of life? If yes, why? If not, why not? Start with yourself. That's very important. We often forget to question. Start with that. Before I leave you, I'm going to tell you a story. There was this one man, it's not a fairy tale. So, a very rich man, Jeff Bezos and, Adani kinds. He had all the resources disposable at his hand. But life is never perfect for anyone, trust me. We don't know about it, but it's not perfect for anyone. So this man suffered from insomnia, chronic insomnia. And given the resources that he had at his disposal, he had tried every treatment possible in the world. Even experimental treatment, he had access to it. Nothing worked. Then one fine day, somebody told him, there is this wise old man living in some caves in, some mountains somewhere. Why don't you go and meet him? It is said that he's, very enlightened soul, and he has solution to all the problems. Now, this man, being the practical, successful person that he was, he didn't believe in all of this. He said, he must be a charlatan, and I don't believe in any miracle cures. So they said, his friends and family said, what have you got to lose? You a jet nikal wao, jao, milo, work hua to theek hai, otherwise fine. There's nothing that you lose except probably, a day and some fuel. So this man, he said, okay, theek hai, we'll give it a shot. The jet is called out and the trip is made. And he gets to meet this wise old man and he tells him his problem. The old man gives him a very simple solution. All you need to do is just look at color green. This man is saying, he's lost it. He's lost his marbles. He's gone crazy. He doesn't know what he's talking about. But again, his friends and family said that, okay, theek hai, it's such a simple thing. You just have to look at green. Why don't you give it a try? So he said, okay. So on his return flight, calls are made, orders given. By the time he reaches home, his bedroom is painted green. His bed sheet, bed cover, pillow, everything is green. And as soon as he enters the room, his eyes start getting heavy and he feels drowsy. And in no time, he's fast asleep. He hasn't slept like this in years. And when he wakes up, he's very happy. The whole house is turned green. He stays home for a week, 10 days to catch up on all the sleep he missed out on for so many years. But now it is time for him to get back to work. Office जाने हैं. अब office जाने से पहले पूरा office में सब कुछ green. Green stationery, all the employees are to wear green. सबको green uniform allowance मिल गया. Everybody is dressed in green. He goes to office. Life is perfect. एक problem था वो भी solve हो गया. So everything is going on well. Life falls into routine. One fine day, he gets a call from the head of his country. And he says, I want you to lead a delegation of, our eminent business people for trade discussions with our neighboring country. He's very excited. It's an honor. लेकिन neighboring country में तो सब कुछ green नहीं कर सकते, right? वो तो आपकी territory नहीं है. So he's again, in shambles. I will not be able to sleep. And, we go back to square one. So he calls out his jet, again makes a trip to that cave in some mountains, meets the old man and says, you are a charlatan. You are a con man. You cheated me. Because this solution is not a permanent solution. It's temporary and I can't turn the whole world green. So this wise old man does not get angry. Just calmly says, I never asked you to turn the whole world green. All I said was you have to look at green. You could have just worn green tinted glasses. Sometimes, to change the world around you, all you need to do is change the way you look at it. Thank you.